Hello, everybody. Welcome to the brand new Business Corner here at SADHANA. And we're launching on our Meet a Yogi series with Yogi Joseph Dees. He is a financial and business coach. And today you're going to get to meet him. We're talking about I can't make any money teaching yoga. Joseph, would you like to say a few words about, can you tell us where you are and how we know each other and
Sure.
a little bit about, what you do?
Okay. Thank you, Suzanne, for this opportunity. I am coming from Birmingham, Alabama, so I have no idea where all of your members are, but
We have yogis on every continent except Antarctica. And it's my mission to get a yogi from Antarctica so we can have yogis on every continent.
wow. Okay. So obviously, so let me just start off by saying I know probably the least about yoga. I don't even understand what the term yogi means. And my term of yogi means yogi bear.
Right.
Yogi, I just had dreams about yogi bear last night. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. So
And yogurt for some reason.
a little bit about me. So I have been doing business planning, development, or in the financial services industry for 17 years. I started out as a business plan writer, and then I found out people wrote the business plan for the money. And then they found out that they weren't getting the money, like loans, because they did not understand, credit and debt and some basic financial information. So as a result of that, I started teaching financial related classes. I'm also a financial advisor, but I'm most passionate about helping people understand, their business and how to launch their business from a planning and development standpoint.
Yeah, and exactly what we're going to talk about today, because all of those things that you said, sometimes, as somebody who is in a healing profession, sometimes when people say like all that language that you just said, to me, sometimes that sounds like wah 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 wah, like business plan, like sort of like I vaguely heard about that sometime when I went to the Small Business Center and I didn't really get it. But one of the reason that I had you on today is that you have been amazing at really helping me to put all of that language into a way that I can relate to it. And so I think that what you're saying, that so many people don't have these skills and that you had to, start going down a level to find where the real needs were. That's really our problem, is that, business plan, that's sort of like way up here. We kind of really need to get like how do we manage our money? Why do we even need to manage our money? Why do we need to think about money? And so, yeah.
No, well, I mean, so let's just, just to stay here one quick second. I don't know anything about yoga, and I've never taken a class on yoga. I heard a lady do a pitch on yoga. That's the length of my experience, and that was like 3 weeks ago. So,
I'll send you my class when it becomes available.
Do what now?
I'll send you my online course when it becomes available this upcoming month.
Okay. So now the reverse is also true, meaning people don't really take classes on money or business unless you're a business major. And so my goal is to hopefully simplify it. You don't have to have a PhD from Harvard in order to just start a business or to make decent money doing something that you like to do. And so my goal is not to use a bunch of terms, but to actually make it practical, it just may take me a second longer from an analogy standpoint, because I am not 100% familiar with yoga, but we'll use some day-to-day.
And we had agreed that, and when we talked yesterday a little bit about this call, what we talk about with people about, and one of the things that we talk about is that we start with my story about, my whole journey to try to do this. So what happened is that I became very interested in yoga when I was in college. I have known since I was very young that I was supposed to be a yoga teacher. However, for many years I was just studying, and that was fine because I was, it was just, I would study after, I'd go to work, and then I'd go to my yoga classes in the evening. But then I became a teacher. At first, I just taught at a community college, which was wonderful because it sort of took the money issue out of it, and I didn't have to worry about, what I would charge people. And also, I didn't make very much money, and that made me very safe to, it made me very safe to try. I took the risk out of it. I didn't feel like, as a new teacher, that I'd be, that I would be making people, it was okay for me to be new because I hadn't charged very much money, and that meant that they weren't going to be disappointed if I wasn't very good.
Okay.
After I moved to Wilmington, North Carolina when my daughter was very young, and then I became trying to work full time as a yoga teacher. I wasn't, my ex-husband made pretty good money. I didn't need to make, tons and tons of money. However, I had previously worked in the high-tech field where I had benefits. I had a regular paycheck. All of my friends were really struggling to make a real living at it. I was very frustrated by the fact that I had friends who were of that age where they should be having children. Many of them chose not to have children, or because I think that it was really difficult for them to figure out, how could they pay for a pregnancy, not be working with their bodies physically? What if they got sick? And also, many of them struggled to have health care benefits, even though they do this healthy thing. There was a whole issue around how do you get benefits. And many people just they did it out of love. They didn't make very much money. And then I saw that they weren't really caring for themselves. And I was doing the same thing. I really couldn't continue to do it because I basically made enough money to pay for my groceries. And I enjoyed it. I loved it. However, at some point, it was a strain on my family. And it was important to me to support my family. When my daughter was 9, she's now 19, so 10 years ago, I moved up to Wilmington, North Carolina, and I returned to working in the high-tech field as an instructional designer because I needed, at that point, I reconnected with my current husband, and in order for us to create our home together, I needed to make enough money to really contribute to the family. And I knew for some reason that I needed to be doing that. I didn't know why, but I knew that at some point I would return back to yoga, and that for some reason I wasn't supposed to be teaching them. For the past 10 years, I've been working in the high-tech field in the product development. 2 years ago, I sort of given up on my dream of being a yoga teacher. Of course, I've stayed involved with yoga kind of as a hobby, going to workshops and things like that, but I haven't been teaching. I went into the program at UAB. I am with Dr. Callahan, who we've met each other through him. He is a small business coach. He helps people to start new businesses. He's also the head of the program at UAB that I just graduated from. his first um, his first assignment in the program was, "What is your calling?" Sorry, that's my husband. And that was very painful for me because I, really knew what my calling was, which was to be a yoga teacher, not an engineer, which is what I was going to school to be. And then the second assignment was, to figure out who I was connected to. But he really threw me into this crisis because I really didn't believe that it was possible to make money as a yoga teacher. I had seen how important it was to me to take care of myself and my family. I felt really conflicted because on the one hand, this is the thing that I love and I'm passionate about. And then on the other hand, I've never been able to figure out how to make more than enough to, go shopping at the grocery store with it.
Well, I mean, I think that's issues that we all have. And I think that's just not in the yoga community. That's all of our issues. Our passions say one thing, but we need a paycheck. And so I think the goal is if we can take this into small steps and I'm just thrilled you made enough money to go grocery shopping. And I think that by itself needs to be celebrated to some extent, because if you made $1, then you can make $100. And if you can make $100, you can make $1,000. If you make $1,000, you can make, $10,000, and so on. And so I think that, I think we all know what to do, or we feel like we don't know what to do, but yet some of the steps, we just need to break them down really, really small so that we can create some momentum and have some confidence. And then over time, that momentum will take over, and then you'll come up with zillions of ways. So maybe, a simple step could be, what is the easiest way to generate, $20 or $10. And so I look forward to exploring just the simple stuff, nothing deep. We're not talking about business plans. We're just going to talk about, can we get a simple win? What would be our first win in that direction? I'm not looking for you to make your paycheck, but I am looking for everyone to maybe come up with one way to generate $1 or $5 or $10. What's the easiest, smallest amount of money right now that you could make doing something that is related to the yoga community? And to me, that's the starting point, because so my definition of business is one person willing to pay for your services.
I think that part of my struggle has been that I'm not with yoga. It's something I do for free, and I have done it for free a whole lot. And I have, and I'm not very in a way, I'm not motivated by money because I just enjoy it so much. I do it. It's kind of been my very expensive hobby for a long time. But on the other hand, I've come to recognize that if I can't figure out how to completely support myself in the manner that I've become accustomed to, that I cannot serve people. Because, if I'm sick, if I'm not in an environment that's nurturing to me, then how can I help other people? Eventually, that's kind of what happened. Was I got to a place where my family wasn't financially healthy, and at some point it's like, okay, I do need to take care of paying the bills.
And oftentimes we feel like the issue is we have to choose one or the other. And so really, what you're really saying is, Joseph, I'm bivocational. I have two vocations. one is related to yoga and one is not. And so now that we know that we are two vocations and we're okay with that, now you should not, there shouldn't be conflict. Should I choose my job or my passion? No, I think you're a mom. You may be a mom and you're a wife. You don't choose which one.
Right.
So you are a yoga instructor and you are a professional who works out.
I actually have kind of come to figure out that, like, that whole thing about who do I serve, that's actually the whole basis of my business. Like, that's actually what small businesses do, is they serve customers. It's just that the language of it didn't really resonate with me. And I realized that there's people that I'm supposed to serve there. They are supposed to support me because they need me.
And ultimately, so let's back up for real quick. So right now, one of the reasons why we can't make money doing yoga is that we may have the idea that it's not a win-win situation from a financial standpoint. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm a yoga instruction, and people value that service, but they're not valuing it enough to pay me. So for me to keep having these good feelings for doing yoga, for serving people in yoga, I need to be compensated. So now the question becomes, how do we create a win-win situation? And can we do it on a very small scale and just test some things? I have not. So in your case, the example would be, I'm wanting to grow the yoga movement, and we're going to have a monthly membership, and we're going to put a fee to it, and this is your benefits for it. And so maybe you try that with some of your yoga members so that you can support each other in this endeavor. Because let's just be honest, as soon as you put a price to it, it may freak you out. Or if nobody shows up like they used to, that would freak me out.
Why is that people start freaking out when they start, why is it that, like, for example, I said that when I first started teaching, I didn't charge very much money, and that made me feel safe. And, why is it that we start sort of freaking out when we start charging what we're worth?
So we have other internal issues that are going on. We believe that we are great yoga instructors, but and I do see where yoga might be a little bit different in that it's coming from a place of love versus financial gain. So if I hire you to cut my grass, I don't really care about, what I care about is my grass being cut, right? I care about you because you're the cutter of my grass, but those feelings, it should be one
more transactional,
right? And so we have to look at this as a way to grow our yoga brand, is by just having more money or just covering our costs. Can we just cover our cost? Can we start off, okay, making money and a profit may be way too big, but can we cover our cost for our basic yoga instruction and equipment and tools? So now the first goal could be, can we make it pay for itself?
I think also, in the yoga world, our training is incredibly expensive. Most people, in order to just get their initial yoga teacher training, it's about $1,500, $2,000 and up. You usually need additional training on top of that. A lot of workshops that are, $500, $600 for the workshops and up. Also, just it takes a long time in order to get skillful in our bodies. And so I think even just breaking even is a huge goal for a lot of yoga teachers that also seems insurmountable. And it's strange because we're willing to pay all that money for our training, but then, many yoga teachers struggle to ask for that amount of money once they've achieved, that level of skill. And I was wondering, do you see that with other people where they're afraid to ask for what they're worth?
So look, let's just have one quick moment of confession, and I think that this will put our entire conversation in a proper context. I struggle with it. So I fired a client that when I needed the money, and the reason why I fired her is because she would not be a good fit. And so yes, these issues are universal. They're universal in business and yoga and everywhere. But what we have to do,
you struggle as somebody who literally works in the financial industry to charge what you're worth, even though you've had 18 years of experience, because it's your passion.
Yeah. So I'd rather do it for free. It's so much easier. So much easier.
You stay in control.
It's just, so, okay, so you got me thinking now, so let's just play this all the way out. So it's easier just to do it out of a place of fulfillment than a place for rejection, because nobody wants to be rejected. So let's just say I said, I'm going to meet with you today, and I'm going to charge you $1,000 for an hour conversation. Okay. That could be, in your eyes, that could be a lot of money. That in your eyes, that could be very little money. And so our perspectives are so different. The question is, how do we challenge ourselves to move forward so that we can really do what we really are passionate about? And it goes back to your calling or your why. And so once we understand that why, what we need is, we might need a little help or a push or suggestions on what those next steps really, really look like. Because yes, it's terrifying, but also, yes, there are people out there that are waiting on you to do the things that you're most passionate about, and they're willing to actually pay you. But you can't get to those people if you don't think that they're out there, or you don't think that they're willing to pay. Is it uncomfortable? Absolutely. But without doing this, or without taking a step, you're stuck right now.
Yes.
So try. We got to be willing to at least test and try.
I wanted people here to hear what you just said, which is that it's your path, your dharma, your, the thing that you are passionate and love is helping people figure out how to build their small businesses and deal with money. Because I think that a lot of yoga teachers don't realize that there are people who do these business things that seem like, sort of, some kind of foreign language to us, who are as passionate about them as we are about what we do. It took me a long time as I started building my business. I realized, I was trying to do it all by myself, and I would read these things about building a business plan. And frankly, that's really not my thing that I'm going to ever be really good at. Probably. It's something that I'm going to be able to learn how to do well, but, that's probably not my main role in life, to write business plans. And guess what? It turns out there's somebody out there who totally loves doing this, who's waiting for yoga teachers who come and knock on his door and say, can you please explain to me how I figure out how to develop a business that makes money?
So really,
so you're sad until you meet me.
Well, again, I'm coming from a place of sharing my truth in hopes to help you and others think about it. So I'm doing a course, and it's live in Birmingham, and I want to, and every day, it's on the 23rd of May, and I want to quit every day, right? But I said, I can't get another job until I go through this 8-week program, because I have to prove it to myself. And so it's not about your money.
And you're going to record that with the camera so that we can have that as the basis for a course that you're going to build for us, right?
We're working. We'll see. Well, I got to make sure that I don't cancel it first. So yes, that's a great goal. But I have to get through the 8 weeks. But yes, I'm working with someone, or trying to work with someone to help me with that.
And it's fascinating to hear that, you're scared to do this, and what you're doing. Like, you think that it would be so easy to offer people something that they so obviously need. To me, it seems like, oh, everybody needs help with this. There's so many people want to start a small business. And yet you're saying, like, it's still scary to put yourself out there.
Absolutely. And so let's just start with us first. Let's not think about the business. Yoga can also be intimidating. Okay. And so the presentation I saw 3 weeks ago was a very chubby lady who's opening up a yoga shop in Birmingham because
into that,
of seeing one particular size of yoga person.
Right, ladies. That's the yoga world.
Like, I can't do, I don't look like that. I want a place where I feel accepted regardless of my size. And that became her mission. And so now she's opening up a place just for the regular woman, regardless of size. And so now that's become, quote, her calling. And so, as I understand it, some of the moves and techniques in the yoga community, you didn't start off knowing how to do every single one of them, but that took time, and that took training, and that took, and so the same is true for you as you progress, not only in yoga, but for me as I launch my company.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the work that we're doing is we're fighting ourselves. And so I said, I'm going to fight me, okay, and I'm going to win, and then I'm going to have a successful company. And that fight that I'm referring to is the fear of the unknown, that I might not be successful, that you might not have customers, that I might not ever make money. No, I have a valuable skill set. You have a valuable skill set. And if we start from a place of your why and your calling, and then you want to share your calling, your expertise with other people, and they're more than willing to pay for that service.
Well, and I had, yesterday, you and I were actually working on my business plan. And I commented to you that, I've sort of stopped and started with some of these ideas that's been on my list to do for a long time. Like, I really need to start figuring out how I'm going to make money doing some of the things that I plan to do. And as we were working together, it turned out that was this thing that I've been dreading and I have felt struggling with, that it became really fun to work together and creative. When we work together, working especially with somebody who's just so passionate about what you do, I could feel the love that you have for helping people in that way. And it actually made the whole experience of this thing that, in the past kind of felt like, okay, the spinach I have to eat. Now it felt like, oh my God, this is so fun. Like, I can't wait for us to work on it some more.
So, and that is this, okay, so, and I'm equally a participant of it, because I was trying to shut down my May 23rd event when you called. So I was like, okay, this is so much fun. This is so much easier. Why don't I just do this instead of my May 23rd event? And so my point is this, your dread was working on your business, and my dread is doing this May 23rd event. We all have dreads. And so we just have to figure out how do we overcome them? Because on the other side of our fears, or on the other side of these things, is that there are people out there in the yoga community that are making money. And
Yeah. And there's people out there in the financial community who want to help us. Like there's the overcoming that fear. I think the secret is to do it together, like find people like you who love what you do, and who do the things that we're not good at, and make it fun, and like cooperate together, instead of it being like, oh, here's this person I have to pay a lot of money to, who, it sounds like a chore until you really meet the person who's behind that.
So a lot of times we feel like we have to do things by ourselves. And I think that's what I like about your community, that as they engage with each other, or as you're sharing from, your where you are in your launch process, that they would also share with theirs, and so that you support each other. You support each other, you celebrate your wins and you celebrate your losses, and then we go and find together solutions to those problems. We don't have to do things, by ourselves. In fact, that's the worst way of doing things. And so having a support group, which I know that you don't have, Suzanne, this is not a support group, but but in a way you can support each other and have at least honest and open dialogue on where we are and what we're trying to do. I think it's ingenious.
And also, you said you didn't know what a yogi is, but Joseph, you're a yogi. And that's why you're in the group, because you are a healer. And it just so happens that the way that you heal is through helping people learn how to make money doing the thing that they love.
Okay, so I just learned something. Yogi means healer. Okay, so I'm a healer. There you have it. I think the other thing I'll just say is this: so much of what we do is about our beliefs, right? And so we have to believe. You believe in. Listen, y'all are serious yoga people, because y'all believe enough to where y'all paying $1,500 to take classes. So you're like at the highest level of belief, right? And so, because you took money, well, if we can get that same belief that you took those classes on, as there's people you can serve and make money, if you can just get it here or even a little bit below, I think you're going to be fine, because we can't attract what we want if we don't believe that it's possible. It's like insect repellent spray, right? We're keeping all of the customers or insects off. And so when you believe, you're like putting on perfume that attracts the clients that you have. And we all have seen and know about, self-fulfilling, prophecies, and how all of that works. So, before we talk about business and before we talk about, what your goals are, let's just make sure that we understand and affirm within ourselves and within the group that we do understand that we may not be there today, but we are going to build a successful, financially stable yoga practice.
So have you actually flipped your thinking as a result of this call, so that now you are thinking to yourself that on May 23rd, you're going to really enjoy that, because now you understand that it's where you're going to discover your purpose?
So absolutely. So so from a personal perspective, I have a goal in mind of how many people I want to show up. I will say that it is possible. I'm not saying this is true, that my goal is unrealistic. Okay. But that's not the purpose of my goal of the event. The event is so that I can finally develop my own curriculum and not other people. So
message. You have your message that you have to develop.
Right. So that creates the win for me. So whether one person or 1,000 people show up, As long as I have that curriculum on day one by the 23rd, I have now redefined the success for me. The money part is just a byproduct of my beliefs. So the better you believe, the better you're and then I do my part on the curriculum. Whether they show up or not, on the 24th, I can then go take my curriculum and get it converted into a digital product. So I didn't lose. If 0 people, what's the worst case scenario in my situation? Nobody shows up, right? Well, if nobody shows up, I still have the curriculum. And I still didn't lose because I learned some things that did not work.
Right, the 1,000 ways not to create a light bulb what's his name? Who did the light bulb? Edison did.
I think we're a little bit, so what's my point? I think we're a little bit too hard on ourselves.
We're very hard on ourselves, and it's fascinating to hear you doing the same thing that, we yogi teachers are doing. We think that, business people, they go out and they're so confident about it, and yet you're saying, like, basically these same struggles because it's the thing that you love. It's hard for you. You know that they are literally business advisors who charge $1,000 an hour, and yet, you're still afraid to do that because you're still struggling with these same issues that we yoga teachers struggle with. We're happy to pay $1,500 to a top tier yoga teacher for our training, but then we're afraid to turn around and ask people for $1,500 for even once we've achieved that level of training ourselves.
Yes. And so what you have to say is, if you have taken a top level training in yoga, then you are a top level trainer too, and you deserve all the rights that top trainers get. And the best way to measure that is through the dollars amounts. If one trainer makes $1 million and the next trainer makes $1,000, that doesn't mean that they're 10,000% better. That just means one person's measurement is different than the other. And so maybe, go ahead.
One of the things that I've been learning about business is that, there's sort of a business model, which is to serve and give away so much stuff. Just give it away, give it away, give it away, give it away. And then there's certain things that you can't, you need to charge money for in order to do it properly. Where, I can go on and give a live call and, in an hour I can teach people something. However, in order to teach people other things, I need them to show up consistently for 6 weeks and dedicate themselves to the learning. And in order to do that, I need to charge enough, so that they see the value of it. The fact is, one of the reasons I value that training that I've had is that I paid $1,500 for it. And I need people to recognize, like, this is going to be this valuable for you by putting the appropriate price tag on it. And that is what kind of forces them to commit to it, because it's like, wow, I spent all that money, obviously it was important to me. There are certain things that, the only way to create the transformation in people is to get them to commit with their time and their money.
Absolutely. So I'm working on something called developing your superpowers. And so the lack of a better word, because you're a yoga instructor, you know how to do yoga. That is at least one of your superpowers. I think that to take your superpower to the next level, people need to know you. Like, I learned stuff, Suzanne, about you yesterday that I had no clue about. I was clueless about that. And so if people know you and then they like you and they trust you, they're more apt to do business with you. So one of the challenges that is not related to money, but I believe that can translate into a financial record keeping or a scorecard for you is telling people who you are, what you do, and why you're passionate about doing that. And if you can do that, I mean, and it could be like 60 seconds or 3 minutes or 4 minutes long, and that's fine. And you put it on your website so that people know. And then maybe you do another one for 60 seconds, or included in there is your training so that people know you. They have a way to know you. They know that you've been trained and that you're serious about this.
And I think we also need to know what you struggled with personally and have in, like, for example, one of the things that's been so valuable about this call to me, and that I hope will be valuable to people as they watch this on the replay, is hearing that, you've kind of struggled with these issues of how to promote yourself, how to charge what you're worth. And I think that as you start to figure that out, you're just going to really be able to speak directly to all these people who are also struggling with that issue, because you have this amazing skill set that you're bringing to the problem that we don't have, of, how to plan a business, and how, you're going to take all that, put it together. So I do think that part of teaching people who you are is sharing what you struggled with. So if they're going through similar struggles, they're like, oh, this person really understands my issues, and they have a solution that works for them, and they think that it'll, work for me too.
So another superpower that we have is the ability to be 100% authentic and transparent, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when you're able to do that, you connect with your potential client or whomever on an emotional level. This is not about writing a business plan or starting a business or making money anymore. All we're trying to do now is, I'm giving you my honest truth. And so my honest truth to you releases you so that you can have yours. You're like, oh, so you got the same stuff, but you got, we're all the same, basically. We all got goofy hangups.
What I'm hearing from this is that by us in this group asking you to help us figure out our businesses, we're actually going to be helping you to figure out your business. Right, because you're still figuring out exactly what your message is and what your path. That this is your path, but you haven't quite figured it all out yet, right?
So there's a couple of pieces that, yes, you are correct. Yes, you are going to be helping me, and yes, but the biggest piece is we're not doing it alone. Right. So in addition to this, I also have a support. I have a support group person, for lack of a better word. Let's just call it a support group to help me get through some of these issues. And so, some people, and I just learned this for myself. We need permission to pursue what we're passionate about. We need somebody else outside, not mama and daddy, who says, yep, I believe in you, you can do it. I had to have that.
What you're saying is you need customers in order to grow. You need to find those people that you serve in order for you to figure out your path, that your customers actually help you. And the reason that we as yoga teachers need to actually get out and promote and find our customers that serve us is that they need, they're going to be there to help us to grow and develop our message and become more capable of serving and helping them. So we can't figure it out without them. We have to connect with the people we serve.
Yes. So think about this. So if you're passionate about football, okay, I live in Alabama. I went to the University of Alabama, Roll Tide. I have to get that in there.
Everybody, if you're not from Alabama, everything in Alabama relates to football.
Okay, thank you.
I have to explain that to people.
For explaining, please call Suzanne for additional information.
I never really got
but But if you're a football fanatic and you're a football player, you do not all of that work not to be on the field, to sit on the bench. No, you got to play in the game. And so you don't go into in the same way. Now we're not talking about football. We're going to transition to yoga. You don't pay no $1,500 just to learn something and not to be able to share that knowledge with someone who cares about something very similar to you. So yes, I need customers and you need customers and they fulfill us.
And I'm your customer because I need your help.
That's my customer. I may become some of your people's customers, but the whole key is this. Not only do we need customers, but we need customers that pay, because payment is a record keeping tool. It shows us where we are. It gives us a track record. We are beyond. When you decided to pay $1,500 for your yoga class or whatever you did, you decided that you were serious. And serious people who are passionate about what they do, they charge.
You should call us 10. We can charge 10.
Whoa, what was that?
I think someone's on here. Someone's on here with us. Hey.
No, wait. Oh, there's another person on here. It's Jan. This is my good friend. When did you join us?
Suzanne?
Yes.
Hold on one second.
Okay, when did you join us, hon? She might
need to take.
Jan is joining us from England. Can you talk, honey? Where's Dan? Yeah. Jan, are you there? Okay, she might not. Jan sometimes has a really bad connection, so she may not be able to talk. Jan, can you talk at all? Jan, are you here? We're taking a little break, and I'm just going to pause.
Sure.
Hi, everybody. So we're back on the recording. We put it on pause due to some technical issues and needs for people to take a break. So now we have two people that have joined us, Jan and Kevin, and we're going to talk with them a little bit about what they use in business lingo. The word is their pain points. Joseph's going to tell us what that means.
Sure. So our topic today was why I can't make money doing yoga. And so I don't want to assume that I know everyone's trouble areas. I think that the truth is we all have areas that we could grow in or that we're having difficulty in. But how do we get help? Sometimes we don't even know what our issues are. And then who do you know that can help us with it? And so before the pain point is that thing that's holding you back or that thing that you're having the most trouble with right now.
So Jan, I have a feeling that you might be able to talk about that, and just knowing you as well as I do. What is your pain point?
I hope that you can hear me. Can you hear me at the moment?
Yeah, you're a little glitchy, but I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I've never heard of pain points, but I can relate, to myself what you're talking about. For me, I've just gone back into therapies, not full, but that's where I'm heading again after a few years of a break because I got fed up of not being able to look at it. And looking back now, and with a little more wisdom, a few more years, a few more grey hairs, I can see that I hate marketing myself, anything I'm offering. Suzanne's always telling me, my God, you're skilled. You have so many different skills. You do various therapy and yoga, all sorts of things.
Yeah, Julie's amazing.
But I hate marketing it.
Talented.
And sorry, Suzanne, say again.
I just wanted to say that you're amazingly talented and highly skilled and trained as and in healing work.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think I can really, I think is that I relate it to approval. Therefore, if I have the clients, I don't have the yoga students. It's kind of it's somehow on some level and people not approving it. Do you know what I mean? I feel as if it's a trigger point for me, as if I'm sensitive to this. I just kind of throw it and say, no, nobody wants to pay, nobody's interested. They all think I'm a bit of a hippie, or, I'm hugging trees and, so she's wacky, nobody will pay for that. They think I'm off the wall or I'm a witch or whatever I am. And so I just throw it in the air and walk away. And I can't seem to find that persistence to stay there. And I build it so far and then wavers a bit and people leave the yoga class, or they might, not because they don't like it, but they get a new and they can't make time, or they have a child, or, whatever it is. And I kind of go, all this effort and now the numbers are going down. So I just, and I just walk away.
Jess, can you talk about this issue of, like having the struggle to build a business? What is it about, finding people to serve, and then that whole issue of, the emotional issue of acceptance that goes with that.
Yeah, it is an acceptance. And I think there's also a fear, and it is in the judgment, because I do find myself sometimes thinking, I do Thai massage and tween eye massage as well as acupuncture and various other things. And I think, what if they don't feel better? What if I can't make them feel better? Oh my goodness, that's to all sorts of judgment,
Right.
Because I really want to help these people. I want everybody to have raw smoothies every morning, and I want everybody to know how to cook healthy foods and have acupuncture and massage and, to feel well. But of course, not everybody understands that, and not everybody can afford that, and not everybody is at the right place to tap into. So I find it frustrating finding the ones who are. I find 9 that are not.
Joseph, how do we find?
It feels like hard work.
What is that? Can you talk about these things?
Yeah. So I try to take notes, and so my observations are that you're highly skilled. You get going, and then people leave, and then you have to start over. Or
constant.
Or you get going and get frustrated for whatever the reason, and then you stop, because you don't know if they're getting what you want.
You don't know if you're helping them because you're not asking.
Yeah. So there's 3 things. 1, to get customers, I would say focus on educating people on the benefits of the services you provide. And maybe what you do is you focus in on 1 or 2 of your skills, because it sounds like you might have 9 or 10 superpowers. Like you're built. I call people skills and talent superpowers, right? That's just how I work. And
Joseph, I thought you'd pick my top. Superwoman.
You might be able to. It may take you far in the marketing and branding arena too. So feel free to steal it if it puts money in your pocket. But but on a more serious note, people probably do think you're hippie and a little bit out there. And you know why they think that? Because we have not done a good job in educating them. And so instead of thinking of yourself as selling and marketing, why don't we just educate? Let's create venues, and maybe you have educational classes, maybe you create educational content, maybe you create educational videos, educational brochures, so that you can put that out there so that they understand it's not weird. You understand they think it's weird, but here's what it'll help you do, the benefits. And here's why I am passionate. And here is why I love this, and how this might benefit you.
And I want to interject here and get a little sort of meta, pull out a little bit and say, this is exactly what we're doing for Joseph right now, is that Joseph is coming on here and he is educating us about the value of what he does. And in that way, he is, quote, marketing and promoting himself. And he's kind of like, just as we think of ourselves as being hippy-dippy, guess what? People in our world think people like Joseph are like alien business people who walk around with briefcases and suits, and we don't, and that's our perception of the financial people. So he's struggling with the same thing that we are. The people who need him, they don't understand what he does, and we're sort of judging and labeling what he does, and he has to fight those internal stereotypes of his industry. Yeah,
absolutely.
So it turns out your market is a bunch of maybe like hippie yoga teachers.
Well, and that can be a market. But here's the other side to that. The other side to it. That also means there are other untapped markets that are out there that we may not have even thought about because of the way that we're even thinking, the way that we think about this. Yoga is a foreign language to me in the same respect that making money or starting a business may be a foreign language to you. Well, the only way for us to overcome that foreign language is through what? Education over time. And I think the benefits, I think there's enough. Uh-oh. Did I lose you?
For a second, you can start.
Okay, no, we're good. So I think that there is enough stuff out there, good stuff out there to put. I think people need to know who you are. I think, and why you're passionate about what you do, and how you can help them in all of these different areas, because everybody has trouble with something. Yours may be money or business, may not be money or business. Mine may be flexibility in yoga and I need a massage. I didn't even know those were even available, right? And so by educating people and informing them, and it's okay to do it in a fun way or in a way that matches your personality. But I think it's just a lack of information about what you do and how you do it. Does that help any? Maybe.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you would be more comfortable just being able to, instead of thinking about, maybe, it almost sounds like, Joseph, that in a way that you're saying that there's sort of rather than that, Jan, it sounds like you've been trying to kind of connect with people in your class, but it almost sounds like you're saying like, well, you kind of need to just do some education and then sort of test the waters and find out whether people are actually the right fit for you, like in that sort of the pre-sale part rather than like in the class.
Yeah, I think when I look at it in terms of rather than selling or marketing about it as educating or informing them, as you say, as Joseph says, it feels a bit more like sharing what I know rather than forcing it on them to make money, that being the main goal, because we all have to eat and have a roof.
Sure.
But, it feels like perhaps if I could share it just out of the love of the yoga and everything. For example, maybe going to a Women's Institute meeting that they have locally and talking to them about yoga, maybe, I'm not getting paid for it, but I'm sharing what I know. Yeah. a more informal way.
Yes.
Mm.
If you don't tell people what your value is, they don't know it either, and that's part of the problem when you don't charge enough. Is that you're not communicating how your skill is valuable to them, and part of the communication is actually the price. You know, if you charge 1,000 people, you're telling people like this is really important. If you charge nothing, then you're telling people that it's not worth very much. It's not that valuable.
So Suzanne, I have a controversial question to ask. It's more of a tactic than and it may not fit here. Hopefully I can develop it in like 10 seconds or less. But as Joanne is educating people about what she does, what do you think about maybe once a quarter or once a month, having a free half-hour session that she markets the whole month for that one day at that one specific time for 30 minutes, just to give people that she's educated a trial. It may be free. It may only be 30 minutes, just to try something. Or is that based on where you are? Maybe that's not a good idea. I don't know.
Jan, would you be willing to sort of set up a regular kind of free session to educate people?
I'm just trying to kind of think that's right. Are you talking about online or something? Or
you could do it in person. You could just set
locally,
up, the start of the month. The way this was done at a yoga studio that I was a member of was that once a quarter they would open up free sessions for the whole week. And then, they would enroll people into classes for the next upcoming quarter.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
So let me back up real quick. So a lot of times we focus so much on finding who is our right customer that we don't even go out there and just find customers. And so sometimes, we may not have a niche, or we may not have a target market, or any of that business stuff. But the question I would leave you with is, who can I share my healing powers with every day? And how can I tell more people about my healing powers every day? And what is the best way to communicate my value to them? Is it over doing YouTube videos? Is it a brochure? Is it a business card? Is it a free session once a quarter, once a month? But the truth is, a lot of people they're out there looking for you, in the same way you're looking for them. But we just haven't made the connection yet.
So, yeah. Kevin, I wanted to give you a chance to talk about what your quote pain point is. What are the things I think that you're more getting started, right? Jan's been studying for a long time. When did you become a massage therapist?
I started about 2 years ago, and I've been working for different spas and events like chair massage and stuff. So yeah, the time where they give discount for the session, and that's like through Groupon stuff, and that's when a lot of people come in, and then many of those people doesn't come back. They usually just go look for the discount.
Yeah, well, that's what happens so this is a branding thing that happens when people charge rock bottom prices. This is a lot of people think like, oh, that will bring in a lot of people, but what it is it's communicating to people that there is no value to what you do. And that's what Groupon is not really what happens. It brings in people who just aren't really that serious about it. So I actually, that's a huge issue that's happening in, all the world, and it's easy to identify it in other people, but it's very hard to overcome the hurdle of charging what you're worth.
I also work for a couple alcohol companies where they send therapists to, like, you see Sooth and Seal, which they bring massage to your home. It's, but I like the model where they have a set price, and it's look like they doesn't give discount like Groupon, but they just set the price up high where the client actually have money and they want to do it. They make it easier to connect therapist and client, kind of like Uber in a way. See, that's good. That's good in a way, but then again, that's also not good in a way. There's so many people out there competing just for the one client that willing to pay that money for that service. So,
where are you in the world? Are you in the United States?
I'm in Texas.
What part?
Dallas.
Ah, very good. I used to go to San Antonio twice a year and fly through Dallas each time. Interesting.
San Antonio is a good place. I mean, it's near Austin, and where all the research. I think that's a big thing going on in Austin. Where Robert is, right?
Where who?
Robert, the Thai guy. That was from last session. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. So basically, it's getting customers, right?
Right.
Or getting the right kinds of customers.
Right, getting the right kind of customer.
So real quick, I'm going to try to do this without you seeing me do this. It's going to be interesting. All right, I need 3 minutes, Suzanne. So if you're on a timer, please turn it off. But on a sheet of paper, draw out like from left to right 5 boxes, and from small on the left to the largest on the right. And the little box on the left-hand side, and then it's a little bigger, then it's a little bigger, and then it's a little bigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then number 5 is the biggest. And yes, what you got? Yes, that right there. That's what I need. Okay, so we would say that Groupon would definitely be on the left-hand side, right? The smallest, number 1, more than likely. We don't want those. But could you describe for me what number 5 would look like?
Well, you would have a steady clientele that keep coming back to you, and they're willing to pay for your service at market price. You said Dallas, right? Yeah, you're Dallas. Right.
What is market price right now?
I would say roughly around 75.
Okay, so we'll say 75 to 100. And what are you getting right now, do you think, through your other ways of making money?
Not enough.
Okay, is it less than 50?
Save 30.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
No, fine.
Yeah.
So think of it this way: you've only been doing this 2 years, so it's like a 2-year-old baby, right? And so if we're a 2-year-old baby, we got to do more than someone that is 15 years old. And so it's about how do I get my information to everybody? And so we could do everybody, but not everybody is right. So maybe we focus this month on professionals or vice presidents, if they have a VP title or relationship. Or you look at all the major corporations in Dallas. I believe you have several. You have many, maybe. I think you have more than Alabama. I'll put it to you that way. That's for sure. And you say to them, we explain again, you don't sell, no sell.
And why are you going to people who have the title of VP?
So I'm thinking of discretionary income.
So you're going to people who have a lot of money.
Or that have a lot more money than Uber. I mean, than Groupon. Because we may have to try several strategies in order to get the right ones. And so I don't want to start with Uber, and I know I want to do more than that. And so we educate them maybe through LinkedIn. Believe it or not, so I have an investment practice, and I do a lot of my practice on LinkedIn because business professionals are more on LinkedIn. And I don't know if y'all are using that from a marketing perspective or not, but I reach out. My goal, I haven't done it this week, but my goal is to reach out to 5 people every day before 9 o'clock and letting a simple email, letting them know what I do. I'm going to incorporate a video, a professionally made video. Well, not professionally, but a better made video than my YouTube, my Facebook Lives, I'll say it that way, into it so that they get to know me a little bit. And so my goal is to send to them maybe 1 to 3 emails a month, just so that they know that I'm on their radar. And I got my first 3 sales, and I didn't even know those people that way. Now, there are probably some other ways to grow your business with money or without money, but off the top of my head, if we're looking for people who make more money, because let's just be honest, $30 a month for a massage is a lot of money to a lot of people, to the people that you're servicing. But I also know that there may be people that are out there that are getting closer to 100.
Mm-hmm.
And so your process is the same as the guy that's making $30. You're just all we're trying to do is find more people who are willing to pay more than $30 right now.
Right.
And so you work for a company, but you also have your own business, kind of, sort of?
Kind of, sort of.
No, I'm not. It's no judgment. I was like that. I was like that actually, I've been that way for 7 years. And that's why I get another job until I do this seminar, because I've been waiting 7 years to do it. And so for you, it's a little bit more difficult. So do you have more women or men as clients?
They would be about the same. I would say more women.
More women?
Yeah.
Male massage therapists have a problem. It's harder for them to get customers because a lot of women would prefer to have a woman touch them, and a lot of men are uncomfortable with men touching them.
Oh, what? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I don't want a man touching me. I can't do that.
And yeah, if I can just say that, if we can get rid of that judgment, if you move this, I don't know if you can hear me because the picture's frozen. If we move this into the arena of athletics and football, men are getting massaged by men all the time. It's called a physio. No, see? We just make these judgments, don't we? You know, we say it's silly, but we do.
Jan, thank you so much for that, because I let my bias affect my pocketbook, right? We're letting our bias or our belief, right, affect how much we make.
Yeah.
And she changed. I mean, that looks totally different now. I mean, I ain't thinking that way at all. And I was like, no, that's not where. And so that means if there's professional athletes, that means there's colleges and there's women's sports and there's all kinds of things that are available to you. So maybe, I mean, I would love to have like a creative brainstorming session that like I could figure out a way to write on a board and talk to y'all at the same time and it being recorded.
And this is what we're learning, and just I'm again like pulling back a little bit that, you know, Joseph is learning how to be on camera. It's the first time coming in here, and you know what he's learning is that he needs to have like a whiteboard with him when he has his next, you know, video. He'll bring whiteboard with him, and then he'll be able to do this. By the way, it flips it around mirror image, which is sort of annoying. But we also have a whiteboard feature within Zoom, just so everybody knows it's possible to do drawing in Zoom itself. If we have a presentation, there's a Telecaster mode on there which allows you to do drawing right in the video. And so we'll set that up where you're on a computer, and that way you can actually draw images. We had this issue also with Muhammad. So we're all learning how to communicate with each other, how we communicate best, and how we can communicate. And I know that Joseph and I have been talking, been unable to, he's very visual, but he's been unable to do it. So we have to figure that out for him. Once we start to get him to be in a medium where he can be more visual, he's going to be able to communicate better with us, and we're his customers. So, you know, that's the whole thing, is you've got to figure out, like, how do you connect and communicate to your customers?
So yes, I mean, all of that is true, but it sounds like, I mean, I appreciate this, just the time to talk to both of you. And I don't know how far we can go with this, but here's what I hear, or here's like some of my takeaways. It's about getting customers, and that's where our focus needs to be. I challenge you to just spend, like, when you get off the call, or even while you're on the call, like 3 minutes, and think of the craziest ways to get customers.
Right.
way out of your comfort zone level right now, because we need to start thinking differently, because if we continue to think on this level, there's limited solutions. But if we think on a different level, on a higher level, then our creativity, and Jan, you actually proved that to me in about the athletics.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I mean, I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah.
So, and that's also about communicating with your customer, because Joseph might actually love to have a massage, but he might never think massage. But if somebody came to his workplace and said, I give physiotherapy for athletes, you know, that's a total, you know.
I think the difference is there. To me, I see that clearly, because I've been doing Thai massage and Tuina massage for a long time. But if a man thinks going to get a very sensual massage, you know, with oils and all this, is like, go, keep away from me, you know, I'm not having a massage from a man. But if it's like, get in there and I'm going to get these tight muscles sorted, and I use fire cupping with the glass, you know, the glass cups, and I put the son-in-law is going, oh my goodness, that's killing me. And men like that, because they think I'm getting in there to the muscles, you see, and it's like a more manly, you know, it's a more physical massage.
But Kevin,
you know what I mean? Rather than the sensual, relaxing to nice music. And you can't have two males doing that. It's got to be marketed as a much more kind of unknotting the knots, and you know what I mean? Not the nice music and stuff.
So what we're going to do is, I'm getting tired and I need to step away because we've been going at this for a while. And what we're going to do is, we're going to throw a challenge out to Jan and to Kevin and to Joseph.
Sure.
To kind of think about your customers in a totally different way, that maybe they're not the people that you expected, and then how do you reach them? How do you talk to, what language are they gonna be thinking in?
And just try something. Like, once you identify them, just try it. I don't know if it's cold calling. I don't know if it's LinkedIn. I don't know if it's walking in, but try something to push yourself just a little bit further and a little bit further out there. And then we can come back whenever and we can talk about, you know, what are some other things. And now that I understand a little bit more, I will, with a little more time, I can have something a little bit better.
Yeah. And we're all sharing and supporting each other. You know, we're actually helping Joseph by doing this, and we're all helping each other. And that's the whole idea, is like,
yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's a good idea.
You know, nobody out there is doing this, and we're all in competition. it's like it's fun. We can all sort of see what's working.
Yeah. Excellent.
Well,
Kevin, did that help you at all?
Yes, it does. I'm just thinking about something I want to bring back to the yoga part of the whole conversation, because it's more about yoga, where you say yoga look more hippie and all that stuff to most people. But basically, since from where I see it, it's mostly about stretching and exercise. And when you put into the context of like a personal trainer, or when you go into physical therapist or chiropractic, what they do, some of the stuff they do, like stretching, there's this program that I see that used by chiropractor. It's called Kin Stretch. So what it is, basically a stretching program, which is pretty much encompassed by yoga, but like people see it different than yoga. They see it like it's not hippie and it's more practical. So that's what I guess if we can make yoga look like that, more professional that way, then maybe you get a lot more appreciation.
I met a woman who was saying that, typically in the yoga market, there's more women, and she did this presentation and she was talking about how there's been research about sort of these power positions and taking these physical positions that make you more powerful. And they were saying that they had a lot more men coming into class when they started talking about this, because now they were saying, talking about being powerful rather than flexible.
Well, I was just to say on that thing, I teach mostly women yoga as well, but my son-in-law was in the army, just coming out now, and I said to him, I'll come and teach a yoga class to your friends in the hall, in your army hall. And he said, oh, they won't come because they'll think you'll be burning incense and chanting prayers and things. I said, well, ask them. So anyway, they came, and in 2 minutes, we did Uttanasana, like a forward bend touching your toes. And when they saw how flat I could fold, they couldn't even touch their toes. They just went, wow. Well, we want to be flexible like that. We didn't realize it was all about flexibility and strength, and they were interested then. So that was interesting.
So you educated them.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
So maybe if we just stop thinking about, what we're doing as marketing ourselves and start thinking about it as educating our customers about what we do.
Yeah.
That makes it marketing not so scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last thing was maybe we can partner with chiropractors to get more massage therapists, especially those independent chiropractor offices that do not offer that service directly. Need you even get like a commission. You could give them even a commission or something, because more than likely coming from a chiropractor and it's professional, it's going to be more money than just, it may not be 100, and but it'll be more than 30, and you may be able to give 20% to the chiropractor or something like that, or they may be willing to give you the referral for free just to develop the relationship.
And that was another thing, is like creating relationships with people. I've discovered, I used to have this big mind block about that, where I thought, like, for example, to have somebody, a financial planner, a business support person, I thought, oh, I don't pay so much money for that. And I was sort of like, well, I would never even ask for it. But I've learned, like, oh, it turns out that there are people who do these things who are starting their own businesses, or who, are interested in reaching your market. I found that people who are really interested in like having, like, maybe they're sick or they have children, and so they're interested. They'll work for less because they're, they need that flexibility.
And I think sorry, Joseph, carry on.
Go ahead, Joanne. I
was just going to say something came to mind then as well. I think perhaps looking at this as an alternative thing that we're doing mostly, a bit hippie or whatever, we have been for many decades fighting the party line of you only trust your doctor and the drugs and the dirty. Yeah, and of course there's times when that's necessary, but you know, like when you're talking about a chiropractor's office here in England, osteopath and chiropractic are pretty normal these days. You know, they're accepted. Whereas like the Thai massage, the tween arm massage, even acupuncture are kind of still, they won't have it. You know, they're not on the health insurance, and people are going, oh, but do they work? You know, and the health service says, no, they don't work. So you've got all that kind of old, you know, bias from the days gone by to get rid of. You know, it's difficult.
Yeah.
You have to educate to combat that, and you don't. One of the things that we've been running into, and this is that whole conversation about the Yoga Alliance, is sort of thinking somebody else is going to take care of that for you. You've identified actually the issue, which is that this is something that can help people with their health, but they're not aware of it, and they're scared of it because they have been told that, you know, it doesn't work or it's unproven. And so somehow you need to figure out how to talk to people who are sick, who aren't being helped by mainstream medicine, and figure out, how do I explain to them that what I do is as valid as medicine, you know, something that they can consider, something to make it less scary to them. That's a barrier to them working with you, your customer. You know, you need to help them overcome that barrier to working with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
And there's medicine doesn't address every issue. And more of these alternative medicines are becoming a lot more popular than we may actually know.
Yeah.
And so dealing with, I mean, if I was a massage therapist, I would be working with, acupuncture, chiropractor, and a massage. A yoga people are 3 strategic alliances that I would have, and I would try to find 3 to 5 in the city that I worked in, because you could okay, so I don't need to say it that way. You could work together in concert with each other, and you send the chiropractor business, the massage therapist sends the acupuncture business, and the acupuncture person sends the massage therapist business, so that it's a win-win-win situation for all 3.
Mm-hmm. What is a financial, person? What are the alliances that you would make?
So one would be, so since I do business loans, talking to bankers who I know bankers always get people they can't get help, right? So that would be one. For investments, I would do HR professionals who have people that are getting ready to retire. And so I can help them educate their people on their 401k rollovers. And then the third one would be for small business people who are wanting to start a business. My alliance would be with, I don't know, I think
a yoga person who happens to know a lot of yoga people who are trying, and Thai massage therapists who are trying to start up their own small businesses.
And that's the answer that I was not looking for and could not come up with. If it was a snake,
he didn't know his customer.
I think the customer. So for me, I understand my customer. I may not understand. Now that I understand who my customer is, I don't understand who else can bring me to my customer. So you are like in the business world, Suzanne would be considered a center influence. A chiropractor for the massage therapist would be a center of influence, because they have the ability to send you the clients that you're looking for. And so the question then, okay, which is a better question, is who are the centers of influence in your arena? And who would you like to have centers of influence that you don't have?
And then what can you do for those people? Because, you need to explain, then you're serving them in some way. So how are you serving the chiropractor? How are you helping them out? There may be just that the chiropractor is always looking for a massage therapist because people are always looking for it, you know, and you're just helping him out by giving him a great referral that he can have that he trusts. And it makes him look good to have trusted providers. Or her.
And the other side to that is, if I take it a step further, is, you know, that chiropractor doesn't want to hire a full-time massage therapist, and so you're a much cheaper alternative to them. So who can you be an alternative for, that's already, you know, that already established, or somebody that's really big, and because you're starting out, they're so big they don't take smaller clients. Well, listen, I'm just starting out. Will you send me your smaller clients right now? Mm-hmm. So again, don't do it by yourself. Find 3 or 4 people you can kind of bounce ideas off of to create you a success support group. I think Suzanne is a super rock star just because she has people like you who can communicate with each other and bounce ideas, because really you two answered each other's questions, but without Suzanne, you know, you would not have known each other.
How are you?
Platform is so powerful.
And you answered our questions too, and now we all know each other, and now you guys can talk. We're all in the group, so you can all IM each other. Now you're connected on Facebook.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, thank y'all so much.
Can you just tell us how we can reach you and not through Facebook?
Sure. My phone number is 205. Were you talking to me, Suzanne?
Yeah. I'm putting you on the recording so people know how to reach you.
Oh, yeah. So you can reach me at 205-567-4078, 205-567-4078. And then I have a website that is under construction, but it's still live right now at Dees Associates. That's www.DEES associates.com.
Yay. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you everybody for joining us.
Thank you, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Jan.
Okay. Bye.
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 Bye, Kevin. Bye, Jan.
Kevin.
Bye.